G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of Conspiracy Crackpots. This week's episode is going to be probably another long one, so without me ranting on too much in this intro, I think we'll just jump straight into the video, which is on a old favourite of mine, covering a favourite topic of mine. Enjoy. As you saw in the title, it's another MultiT0mt0m video. It's been a while since we've done one of his. This should be fun. And it appears he's already started NASA PSYOPs, as if everything NASA does isn't real. Well, let's just dive on into it, shall we?
The National Aeronautical and Space Administration was created on 29 July 1958.
I'm willing to bet, now, bear with me here, but I'm willing to bet that is probably the only factual thing you'll say through this entire video. We'll see. We'll see.
D. Eisenhower was President of the United States. They had to create a space agency because they found out for certain that the Earth was flat and stationary.
Everybody knows that they created NASA to hide the fact that aliens are here. Everyone knows that. How could you not know that? It wasn't to make up that the Earth is flat. It's to hide aliens. Duh.
Certain events put into motion the formation of NASA and other space agencies. Because of Admiral Richard E. Byrd's expedition to Antarctica and the International Geophysical Year 1957-1958.
I don't know what you mean by geophysical year. I don't know if you mean like fiscal year. I'm not sure if you're mispronouncing that. But as for General Byrd, he died before NASA was formed. Many years before NASA was formed. I don't know why you guys seem to love like Admiral Byrd and Antarctica so much. What he did was great. He did 2 trips to Antarctica. So, I don't know why it's such a bad thing. I guess we'll find out.
All the governments of the world were at a loss because they didn't know what to do. They collectively took the decision to deceive the world, then tell the truth.
How? They made the decision to deceive the world by telling everyone that the Earth was a globe, even though everyone knew that already. So, what was the purpose of them? To say that the Earth is a globe because the Earth is a globe? That makes 0 sense. People had known that the Earth was a globe for centuries. And then NASA comes along and confirms it. So they have to say that it's a globe to hide a flat Earth that no one believed in. Good work, buddy. Good work.
Contrary to popular belief, the United States and Russia, or rather the USSR, were never in a space race.
Yes, they were. You see, when Kennedy was president, he... Look, it's just easier if I play this clip.
Finally, in a field where the United States and the Soviet Union have a special capacity in the field of space, there is room for new cooperation, for further joint efforts in the regulation and exploration of space. I include among these possibilities a joint expedition to the moon. Space offers no problems of sovereignty. By resolution of this assembly, the members of the United Nations have forsworn any claim to territorial rights in outer space or on celestial bodies, and declared that international law and the United Nations Charter will apply. Why, therefore, should man's first flight to the moon be a matter of national competition? Why should the United States and the Soviet Union, in preparing for such expeditions, become involved in immense duplications of research, construction, and expenditure?
See? That's just him saying that he's inviting the USSR to make a joint mission to the moon. And if Kennedy had not have been assassinated, that is exactly what would have happened. But I think it was Khrushchev at the time did not trust Kennedy's successor. I don't know American politics that well, but Khrushchev didn't trust him, so he said, "No, we're not doing a joint venture with America to get to the moon." That's all that happened there.
After the death of Stalin, the United States government invited the USSR to participate in the International Geophysical Year 1957-1958. And don't forget, it was during this time that the USSR became the first country in history to fake space.
I'm sorry, to fake space. And the first time in history. So what's everyone been looking at prior to that? You make no sense. You provide no evidence. And you have nothing to show for it. You just come up with these wacky ideas. Okay. Calm. Let's move on.
They claimed that they sent a satellite to space, the Sputnik 1. This is a picture of Sputnik 1. Do you really think that a metal sphere with antennas sticking out of it would orbit the Earth?
And this is an image of what Sputnik 1 actually looks like. It's not just a sphere with some antennas on it. It has internal workings. I don't know how you can't look this up. You have all the information at your fingertips. You clearly know how to use the internet because you keep posting stupid videos on there. Moving on.
Just 3 years after the formation of NASA, the new President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, made a famous speech where he said that the United States will put men on the moon before the decade is out. That was a bold claim to make.
And it actually happened. And it's one of the most well-known speeches in the world, I believe. Everyone knows that, we choose to do these things this decade, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. I do a terrible Kennedy impersonation. Don't ever hire me to play Kennedy in a movie, okay? Deal? Right.
NASA's Project Mercury claimed to have put the first Americans in space.
Yes, the first American in space was Alan Shepard in like 1961, I think it was. Anyway, it's well known that he was one of the first people in space. He wasn't the first, that was Yuri Gagarin from the USSR. But you don't mention that. Why?
That outer space is fake, and they knew that. NASA's Gemini program was the precursor to the Apollo program that was to come later. They claim to have sent men in a spaceship that orbited the Earth. NASA's Mariner program supposedly sent probes to Venus, Mercury, and later Mars.
Okay, well, this is just factually inaccurate completely. Mariners 2, 5, and 10 went to Venus. Mariner 1 was supposed to go, but that had a failure. Mariners 4, 6, 7, and 9 went to Mars. 3 and 8 failed. They were supposed to go to Mars as well. And only Mariner 10 went to Mercury. This chart shows you everything. It's very easy to find. Moving on.
Is that there are no planets the way they taught us at school.
What?
Planets are not terra firma, meaning one cannot land on it and then...
Which planets? If you're talking about like Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, you're correct there. But all the other planets, you can land on them. Hell, we've even landed on another moon before. Not our moon. We landed on Titan. That was super cool. Both figuratively and literally. Saying that a planet isn't solid, what is it then? What do you think planets are? You don't explain this. So frustrating.
Then on July 16th, 1969, NASA and the United States government perpetrated the biggest hoax in history. They claimed to have sent 3 men to the moon, 238,000 miles away, in the vacuum of space, where...
Okay, yes, I mean, technically, Apollo 11 launched on the 16th of July, but it didn't land on the moon until the 20th. It took 4 days to get there, traveling at incredible speeds. And only 2 of the men landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And Michael Collins stayed in the orbiter. Like, why do people still think the moon landing was faked? Do you know what a momentous occasion that was? And what a monumental struggle it was to get there? What they had to overcome? It's mind-blowing. Like, that they did it. Especially with 1960s technology. Unbelievable. But they did it. It happened. If you got a powerful enough telescope, you can look at the landing site. It's... Why?
and space travel is impossible.
Why?
Then they orbited the moon in a tin can, then landed on the surface of the moon, took some photographs, then returned safely back to Earth.
Yes.
I mean, seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
In the 1970s, NASA claimed to have built a space station named Skylab.
Yes.
Their purpose was to test human endurance in space. The problem here is that they told us that there is no up and down in space due to the lack of gravity.
Correct.
So it would be impossible for human beings to eat and drink in space.
Eating and drinking requires muscle, not gravity. The fact, you know, when you swallow and your esophagus, it expands and contracts to push the food down. Yes, there are downsides to being in not zero gravity, microgravity, in that your stomach digests slower, your lungs expand, but it has zero impact on being able to eat and drink. That doesn't require gravity. We'll see how much dumber this can get, because frankly I've had about as much of this as I can take, and I'm if there was a way to reach through and just maybe force choke, do the whole Vader thing. You're thinking it too, just admit it.
This is because food and drink will not go down to the stomach, and they will be pissing and shitting through their mouth.
Yeah, I'm done. Pissing and shitting through their mouth. Most people call that vomiting. You can't shit through your mouth. You vomit. And again, the same thing. It doesn't require gravity to go to the bathroom. It requires muscle. Your muscles work your internal organs and everything and push stuff down. And then, sorry if you're eating, but it also pushes stuff out. It's not that complicated to understand. You know, it's not often I will cut a video short like that. But there was another 4 minutes of that to go in a 9-minute video. I think we did pretty well to get that far into it. I can sit through most flat earth stuff, not a problem. But when you're talking about stuff that is you can look up easily and is readily available to anyone, it requires no searching. You just type it in and bam, it's there straight away. But he didn't do the smallest bit of research into it. I find that extremely frustrating. I'm sure you did too. I would say let me know what you think of MultiT0mt0m's video in the comments below, but I already know you're typing. And you probably started typing before I even mentioned it. Hell, you probably started typing just after the intro, because it is just that dumb. How anyone can condense that much dumb into one video is beyond me. But one day I might watch an entire MultiT0mt0m video, and I hope you'll be there with me, suffering the torture. No one deserves that. But thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, a special thank you to Purple Haze, Caustic, and Lisa for their support over on Patreon, as well as my other patron supporters. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, that'd be awesome. If not, whatever. Also, check out the merch. There's not much in the store at the moment, but I am planning to add more to it. And until next time, friends, don't be a dick. Like MultiT0mt0m. What an idiot!